Hi everyone, I am Aishwarya. So before the starting, I'll just give a small introduction about myself. I am Aishwarya. I just born and brought up in Tamil Nadu. I finished all my college, schooling, everything in Tamil Nadu. We just moved to Mumbai 6 years before, and we are currently living in Mumbai. So many of us know today I am going to give a small talk about Tamil cuisine. So in this video I'll be covering about basic Tamil cuisine, how a lunch, breakfast, snacks and dinner will look like. Then after that I'll be showing 3 easy chutneys which anyone can make, a very basic beginner kind of chutney I'm going to make, and gunpowder I'm going to make in the end. So you all may know gunpowder is nothing but milagai podi in Tamil. So it's very popular in Tamil Nadu. So I'll be showing how to make the gunpowder as well. So let's get into the video. So many of us will think when it comes to Tamil cuisine or South Indian, like the first thing comes to mind is like always idli, dosa, sambar. But it is so much other than that. I'll give a brief introduction about everything. So you know, all rice is like so staple in every household. Without rice nothing will move over there. So before I'll start with breakfast, lunch and dinner, I would like to start with the morning drink. So the morning drink is always filter coffee in my house especially. Most of the places it's like filter coffee. Some houses they'll start with tea as well. But as far as I know, like filter coffee is so famous over in South. When I was a kid, I still remember my mom used to make the fresh batch of filter coffee every day. The house just fills the smell of aroma of filter coffee. It just wakes me up every day. Filter coffee is like so close to our heart. So every day my mom, my aunts or everyone, every day they used to make a fresh decoction and used to boil with the fresh milk, and like nothing can match the fresh filter coffee taste. So after morning drink we usually go for breakfast. So breakfast is mostly like idli, dosa, sambar. Sometimes we make pongal, uttapam. Pongal is again made with rice and lentils. Pongal we used to have with sambar and chutney as well. Then we can eat puri paniyaram, idiyappam, appam, puttu and all those things, which is again everything is made out of rice. So puttu is nothing but it is a steamed flour, steamed rice flour with coconut, and it is mixed with jaggery. Idiyappam is string hoppers, which is again made out of rice, which is usually had with coconut milk or with grated coconut and jaggery. Then if you take kuri paniyaram, it is kind of small balls. It is made in 2 versions, both sweet and both spicy version. Both ways you can make. So again kuri paniyaram, appam, puttu, all those things is made out of rice. Then apart from all those things, when I was a kid my mom used to make kur, that is called as porridge. It is made out of different kinds of millets. So millets plays a very important role in Tamil cuisine. She used to make ragi kul in Tamil Nadu. It's called as kelvaragu kanji. It's very healthy. So the previous night itself she mixes and keeps. The next morning it will be all fermented and ready. So you can see lot of foods are like fermented foods, like puri you can take, idli, dosa, appam, anything you can take. It's mostly all fermented. The fermented foods increases the digestibility in our body. It gives B12 vitamins as well. Fermented foods are very good for the body. So we used to have lot of fermented foods, and like kambu kool, kelvaragu kool, all those things plays a very important role in Tamil cuisine, apart from idli, dosa, pongal, all those things. And yes, puri chapati also happens at home when there is no idli batter. Now, like after coming to Mumbai, I started making all paratas, puris, chapatis and all those things. When I was a kid, when I was growing up, my mom used to make chapati only when there is no idli batter. So chapati is like a kind of weekly thing. It's not a regular one. Mostly it's all made up of rice. Then apart from breakfast, I think that's it. We used to have a lot of snacks as well, mostly made up of rice, millets and all those things. Then we move on to lunch. Lunch is again 100% it is rice. We just split the rice into 3 equal parts. The first part is for curry like sambar or something. The next part is for rasam, which is good for digestion, which is made out of pepper and jeera. And the third part of rice is for curd and pickle. Curd is for good probiotic. So when it comes to vegetables, we used to have varuval and poriyal. So varuval is nothing but the spicy version of any vegetable with chili powder and all those things. And poriyal is nothing but lightly sorted vegetables like carrot, beetroot, cabbage with some grated coconut. It's very mild. So apart from varuval, poriyal and all those things, payasam plays a very important role in Tamil cuisine. Whenever there is some festival at home, payasam, vada and all those things. Payasam is nothing but kheer in Hindi. So you can call it as pudding as well. So vada also plays a very important role. Vada is nothing but fried lentils. There are like different kinds of vada. The most famous one is medu vada, which is made out of urad dal and some onions and some spices. And next one is the masala vada, which is my absolute favorite, which is made out of chana dal with onions and all those things. So lunch usually served in a banana leaf. Especially when relatives are coming, though, like we used to have the banana leaf and we used to serve rice, curry, rasam, curd, 2-3 vegetables and payasam, that is kheer and some vada. So it's not always sambar. There are different kinds of curries we make. Some kind of curry is like tamarind based curries we make. We call it as puri kolambu in Tamil. Apart from the tamarind based curries, we make lot of coconut based curries as well, with some kind of stew, you can say, with lot of vegetables, and with coconut paste or with coconut milk we can make lot of curries as well. We even make curries with dal dumplings as well. So apart from this curry, rasam and curd, we have other set of lunch varieties as well. One pot kind of lunch varieties, you can say. Those one pot lunch varieties are like, you could have heard lemon rice, tamarind rice, sesame rice and all those things, which are like all one pot, so easy to make. It stays very well for 10 hours also outside without any refrigerator or anything. So when I was a kid, when I was growing up, when we are like going somewhere out, means my mom used to pack so much of tamarind rice with potato fry and all those things. Tamarind rice plays a very important role in any tour kind of thing. Like whenever we go for a trip, all Tamilians can relate to this. Moms usually pack tamarind rice, lemon rice and all those things. And now everything has changed. We are like going to restaurants and we are having our lunch. Before, when I was small, we used to pack our lunches. Even if it is a road trip for a day, we just pack our lunches and we used to go. So apart from this, non-vegetarian also plays a major role in Tamil cuisine. Mostly it is made out of curries and varuvals. Curries is again kind of kulambu. In Tamil we call it as kulambu. There are different kinds of kulambu available, like chicken, mutton, all seafoods, everything can be made into curry, and everything is made into varuval as well. And biryani also plays a very important role. Like every district has their own kind of own special kind of biryani. When you take Dindukal district, the biryani is different. When you take Ambur, the biryani is different. So every state has, every district has their own style of biryani, you can say. And in Tamil Nadu, biryani is not always made out of basmati rice. There is a rice called Siraga Samba rice. So that is preferably used for biryani, especially in Ambur biryani, Dindukal biryani and all. That biryani is completely different from the Hyderabadi layered biryani. So many different types of biryani is there, and every district has their own set of food. Each district has if it is a coastal district, I am from coastal district, so my food is mostly about with coconut based curries with lot of seafoods and all those things. If you are from the central part, the coconut and seafood will be little less. It depends upon from which district you are coming. So every district has their own set of own style of cooking. Then that's it for lunch. When it comes to evening snack, there are so many snacks available. So most common thing is sundal, which is nothing but cooked pulses which is tempered with mustard, curry leaves and grated coconut. Such a protein rich snack, you can say. My mom used to make sundal out of all the pulses, like almost everything, rajma, peanuts, out of everything she used to make sundals. Then apart from sundal, we used to have some fried stuff like murukku. In Hindi we call it as chakli, and so many different types of murukku, that is chaklis, and so many kinds of bhaji, bonda. In Hindi it's called bhajiyas, bhaji, bonda and all those things. And mostly evening is preferred, evening people prefer tea. So morning it is mostly kind of filter coffee, especially in my area, and evening it is kind of tea. Then apart from sundal and all those things, yes, dumpling plays a very important role in evening snack. When I was a kid, my mom used to make different varieties of dumplings out of millets, out of rice flour, even steamed, sweet kind of dumplings, spicy version of dumplings. So many kind of dumplings my mom used to make. In Tamil we call it as kolukattai. I have a very strong relationship with kolukattais. I love kolukattais so much. It's all really very healthy alternate compared to that bhaji, bondas and all those things. And there is one thing called ilai kolukattai, which is made in the leaf, and the leaf itself is steamed with the dumplings, so it gives a very nice flavor. So I'll just love that kolukattai and all those things. So apart from that, again some basic snacks like what all North Indian people have, we will have the same things. And then for evening night dinner, it is mostly of idli, dosa and all those things. Now people started eating lot of chapati for night these days. I could literally see when I was a kid, it was not there much, but even I started to make lot of chapatis these days. After coming to Mumbai, after seeing my friends, I started making all kinds of paratas, different kind of Maharashtrian dishes and all those things. But when I was a kid, when I was growing up, it was like all restricted to idli, dosa, appam, idiyappam, like those kind. So dinner is mostly kind of upma also used to make with dalia. Dalia is nothing but broken wheat. With rava or suji, upma can be made. All simple, very easy on stomach kind of dinners. So apart from idli, dosa and pongal and all, it's kind of morning thing. So pongal I never seen my mom made in for dinner. It's mostly made for breakfast. So puri also made for breakfast. So puri, my mom always used to make potato curry, which is such a simple curry with very less spices and all those things. I never had chole and puri. After coming to Mumbai only I know that puri can be had with chole. So for us puri is always with potato. We call it as puri kirangu. It's very classic combo in south. Then basic things like for dinner it is always very basic, very simple, nothing so elaborate, nothing much. So you can see everything is like almost made out of rice. So rice is like such a staple food in Tamil Nadu. There are different kinds of rice. Each recipe calls for a different kinds of rice. So Then even for biryani, I told already, there are different kinds of rice for every biryani. So I think I'm done with that. I'll be showing you the recipes now. I'm going to show you 3 basic chutneys. Like all South Indian know these chutneys very well. This is very simple. Any beginner can make this chutney. So let's start. So first I am going to take a simple chutney, coconut chutney. In this I am just going to give 2 variations in that. So nothing much. So here you can see for this coconut chutney I'll give all the details in the description box as well after this video. So I took some coconut, some Bengal gram, just 1 chilli. It's more than enough for this much of coconut. It's almost 1 quarter cup of coconut and 2 tablespoons of Bengal gram and a small inch of ginger and some salt. Just grind this with a little bit of water. That's it. Coconut chutney is ready. Only 4 ingredients: coconut, Bengal gram, chili and ginger, not more than that. So you can see the end product, and I have made tadka as well. So tadka is nothing but the tempering. So we for all chutneys we used to make a tempering with urad dal, mustard and curry leaves. So tempering gives a very nice flavor. In the tempering you can add little bit of small onions as well. To the same chutney I'm just adding a handful of coriander. Same things: coconut, green chili, ginger, Bengal gram. I'm just adding a handful of coriander leaves to make it as a coriander chutney. That's it. It's so simple. You can make coriander chutney in many ways, but for a beginner level I used to teach this way. To the same coconut chutney add some coriander, make it as coriander chutney. Nothing specific. You can add little bit of tamarind also, just for the hint of sourness. So again you can see it's all ground with water, again tempered with the same things: mustard, urad dal and curry leaves. You can see the color of chutney, this bright green chutney. Next we are moving to mint chutney. This is my absolute favorite out of all 3. So here same ingredients goes: coconut, green chili, piece of ginger, Bengal gram and just some sorted mint leaves. So for this coriander chutney we don't need to sort the coriander leaves, you just add the fresh coriander leaves. But for the mint chutney you need to sort the mint for a minute or till it shrinks. It takes just a minute or so. So just saute the mint in a bit of oil and will just shrink in a minute. So I'm just going to grind this and mint chutney is ready. So this is also again bright green color with some tadka or tempering. Same tempering for all the chutneys. The tempering is nothing but oil, mustard, urad dal and curry leaves. So the basic thing here is the chutneys you can make in any way. Mint chutney can be made in any way. But here for this basic beginner level I just give the coconut chutney and 2 small variations so anyone can make. So adding a bit of tamarind will give a nice flavor to this chutney. You can add if you really want. And next we are going to see about podi or gunpowder. So when I came to Mumbai, when I say Tamilian to anyone, everyone will be asking for can you give the recipe of gunpowder or idli podi. So idli podi is a kind of dry powder which can be stored for a month or so. When you don't have time to make chutney or sambar, this idli podi is kind of rescue all the time for us. Like mostly these days also I'm waking up because of this quarantine, waking up late because of this quarantine. I'll just make some idlis and I'll just give with the podi. This is so simple to make. This podi is so protein rich. Everything is made out of dals here. Here also I am giving the very basic version. You can add whatever like garlic you can add. You can add other pulses as well. but here most of the viewers I feel are North Indian, so I felt like giving a basic gunpowder or basic idli podi, which is like every household Tamilian thing, you can say. So here you can see I just dry roasted the urad dal here. So just keep the flame low and dry roast for like 5 minutes or so. It gives a very nice aroma. The color will slightly change. At this time I'm just taking the urad dal out. After the urad dal, like if it is 1 cup of urad dal, chana dal should be half cup. It should be half and half. So I took 1 cup of urad dal, so I took half cup of chana dal. So I just dry roasted all the chana dal till it turns slightly brownish, or the smell changes, or when it gets a nice aroma. Then I have added like around 10 red chilies. This is not the Badgi variety, this is the Guntur variety, I think. This is so spicy, so you need to add chili powder according to your spice level. So if you take the Badgi variety, it will give a bright red color, but the spice level will be very less. But this chili will give a will not give that bright red color, but it will give such a spicy one, this chili. So again, for this important thing, I am adding some hing, asafoetida, and some rock salt. That's it. I am just going to grind it as a powder. I am just going to store it in the airtight container. So this is how the podi looks. If I take the Badgi variety, the podi color will be bright red. But I am not taking the Badgi variety. I am taking that normal Guntur variety. This color is little dull. But when you mix it with the sesame oil, the color will just change slightly. So this is the basic podi recipe. You can find all my podi recipes and everything in my Insta handle as well. So I hope this podi you can try at home. This is nothing much in this. So I'll repeat again with this podi. So 1 cup of urad dal, half cup of chana dal, some red chilies, asafoetida, and some salt. Nothing much. Just dry roast everything separately and just grind it in the mixer. Not to a very fine powder, slightly coarse powder. You can see the powder is little coarse, not so coarse, slightly coarse, so that it tastes better. Apart from sambar, there are so many different kinds of curries. So some curries is made out of coconut. So coconut and some vegetables, those curries will be like very mild. That curries we can have it with rice as well as with appams or idiyappam as well. So apart from sambar, there are different kinds of curries for lunch as well as for breakfast. So sambar is not the only option. We make dals as well. And one point I wanted to mention here, in Tamil cuisine, the amount of garam masala in food is like very less. I have seen my mom using garam masala only for non-vegetarian stuff. For vegetarian stuff, the garam masala is not much used as like in North Indian cuisine. So Gopinath has asked some question. Hi Gopinath, how long idli podi will last? 6 months? No, not for 6 months. It will last, but the smell will go, the freshness will not be there. It will last for like a month, 1 month, or maximum 2 months. So you should consume within month or so. It will last, but the freshness will not be there. So coconut paste is also widely used in stews, as well as coconut milk is also widely used. So apart from stews, coconut milk is used in kanji kool as well, which gives a very creamy texture to the kanji kool. Kanji kool is nothing but porridge. Shalini has asked, can I dry coconut to the podi? So I just suggest not to use dry coconut in the podi, because dry coconut will give a oily smell after a point of time. So I won't suggest to add dry coconut to the podi. If you are like going to finish the podi within like 10 or 15 days, you can go ahead and add. But if you are storing for more than 15 days, I will not suggest you to add podi. So appam is nothing but again fermented food. It's kind of dosa, but the outer layer is like very crispy and the inside layer is spongy. In Kerala also appam is very famous. Appam is made out of like coconut, rice, and just coconut and rice, nothing much. It is always had with coconut milk, or you can have it with coconut based stews, very mild stews you can have it with. So appam is very famous in south, especially in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So apart from appam, I wanted to tell you about idiyappam as well. So idiyappam plays a very important role in Tamil cuisine. Like who is discharged from hospital or someone who is not ill, so idiyappam is widely given, because idiyappam is like very light on stomach. It is basically steamed, made out of rice flour. The rice flour will stay for like 2 years also, without any bugs, because the rice flour is treated in such a way. So whenever I come to Mumbai, my grandmom used to pack like 2 to 3 kgs of that idiyappam flour. Idiyappam is nothing but string hopper. She used to pack like 2 to 3 kgs, and it will just stay as like that in normal shelf. It doesn't need any refrigeration. Bugs won't come. So I am done with this session. Thank you everyone. Thank you once again Delhi Food Walks for this opportunity. Thank you so much.